All right, everybody. Super Bowl 58 is here, and it's going to be one hell of a game. 49ers versus Chiefs kicking off Super Bowl 58 in Vegas. And before we break down the matchup, comment down below. I want to see what you guys are thinking. Are you guys leaning 49ers, leaning Chiefs? I want to see what you guys think. So drop your prediction in the comments down below. Also, like the video if you guys enjoy. But getting into this matchup, 49ers versus Chiefs, this is going to be a good one. Chiefs have looked great this postseason. This has not been their typical type of season. Normally, we see them playing at home all playoffs long. Not been the case this year. They took care of Miami. They went into Buffalo, knocked them off. They were one of the hottest teams at the time. Looked very impressive to get that win. Then they stormed into Baltimore, took down the MVP, Lamar Jackson, and the Baltimore Ravens. And now they're in the Super Bowl. And they're facing a team that they kind of... I don't want to say they limped into this game, but I kind of want to say they limped into this game. They played the Packers. They almost lost that game. Arguably should have, but definitely could have. Then they played the Lions. Got completely smoked in the first half. Finally woke up, came back. The Lions choked that one away. But, they have not looked too impressive in this postseason. So they are going to, hopefully this time off, they kind of got things right, figured out. I expect Shanahan, he's going to be able to scheme these guys open and, get some offense going in this game. So I don't think that, we're going to see necessarily completely what we've seen from the Niners throughout the playoffs. I think they'll show up a little bit more today. But when we're just looking at these two teams straight up, I'm honestly a little shocked to see that the Niners are the favorite here just because of how the teams got here. KC has looked very, like a very complete team throughout these playoffs. But as far as our prediction on this game, we're going to be taking plus 3.5 on the Chiefs. That was the spread the other day. Looking at the lines now, it looks like a lot of money is coming in on the Chiefs today. So the spread is actually tightened. So it's now plus 2. If you want to take the plus 3.5 still, it's a little more slightly juiced. So maybe you can find it on one of your sports books with more reduced juiced. It's about 170 right now on DraftKings. That'll cover a field goal. I think that they'll just win outright. I'm personally going to be betting the plus money on the Chiefs. I think in a game like this, if you're going to give me Patrick Mahomes, the guy who's basically going to be the next Tom Brady, we'll have to wait and see. But the guy, he's unbelievable. The fact that the guy he's played 17 career playoff games already, and he's 14-3 with 2 Super Bowls. Those are GOAT-like numbers. He's tracking Brady well. We could very well see him, at least get close to Brady's numbers, but he could very well end up by the time things are done, we could be looking at the new GOAT in Patrick Mahomes. So on this one, if you're going to give me Patrick Mahomes and how the Chiefs have been looking with plus money, we've got to take it. But CTB, we caught the actual number at 3.5 yesterday. So that's what we're going with, plus 3.5 on the Chiefs. But me personally, I would love to see Chris McCaffrey get a ring. So I'm kind of rooting for the Niners a little bit in this game, just because you don't want to see the same team win all the time. But I just, as a betting person, I cannot. If you're going to give me a good team at plus money, you almost just have to play it for the value. And when it's Patrick Mahomes, this is like going against Brady. Everybody wanted to go against Brady in his Super Bowls. Oh, he's washed. He's not going to get it done. And then time and time again, he just got it done. It's almost like betting against Brady with Mahomes here. And we learned you just don't do that. So we're going to ride Chiefs plus 3.5. And then myself, I am personally playing the money line on the Chiefs. And then we'll probably see all the Swifties lose their minds on Twitter. So that'll be a lot of fun. But hopping into some player props, we're going to be looking at 3 that we like. And I'll give you some bonus plays as well. The stuff that I'm just looking at. And then we've got a Super Bowl same game parlay for you guys as well. So let's hop into this. We've got Travis Kelce for an anytime touchdown. If you guys have been watching Kelce over his career, he's a different kind of guy in the playoffs. This season, if we look back, he has not had the best numbers this year. He had 5 touchdowns total in the regular season. But as you can see, right when he got to the postseason, he's just different. In the postseason, him and Mahomes click like Gronk and Brady. And just to read you kind of a stat here that's kind of crazy. In the playoffs, Kelce has had 19 touchdowns in 21 career playoff games, while having 3 in 3 games this season. So, he didn't get one in the Miami game, but against Buffalo, he had 2. And last game, he had 1 against Baltimore. You can just see it in the games. There's a lot of young receivers that Mahomes is dealing with, so it's like he's got to go back to his security blanket. And Kelce is one of the best, probably ever, at he runs a route but it's not a typical route that you see. Most guys, you'll see them run a design play, you know, in route or a comeback route, whatever the route is. Kelce is so good at identifying the soft spots in the zone and then just sitting down in those zones. You'll see all the time that it's not even, I mean, and Mahomes has said this, it's not even that he's running the exact route. He'll run, you know, maybe like a crossing route or something, and as soon as he sees that there's a little gap in the defense, he'll just sit down in that zone and it'll leave an easy pass for Patrick to find him. That's exactly what he's been doing in these playoffs. I mean, last 2 weeks with 3 touchdowns, and he just finds that gap, sits down in it, Patrick finds him, and he's in the end zone. So we're gonna be rocking with him for an anytime touchdown at plus 100. You know, and another stat about that, since 2020, he has had a touchdown in the playoffs in 10 out of the last 12 games. So yeah, man, we're gonna be rocking Kelce plus 100 anytime touchdown score. Our next prop we're gonna be looking at is actually going to be Mr. Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant himself, over 12.5. You can also find this on different books, 10.5 and 11.5. So check different books, because depending on the one that you're using, you can get a better price. We like it all over those lines. So Brock Purdy, let's just take the higher line, over 12.5 rushing, minus 125. If you watch the NFC Championship with the Lions were doing a great job of taking away the checkdowns and really forcing Purdy to use his feet. I mean, however, that did kind of end up being some of their kryptonite, because they would take away those check down options, and then he showed that he has the wheels. So we're looking to see that here again, because the Chiefs, their defense has been playing great. Their pass rush is going to be collapsing that pocket. He's going to have to step up, find something. If they do it what the Lions did and they take away those underneath routes, he's going to have to try to step up and run. So, I mean, whether you're playing at 10.5, 12.5, you know, 13 total yards is all that he needs to get. And he had 48 last week. He had 14 versus Green Bay. So, I mean, in the playoffs so far, he's been over this line every single time. So you can see that pockets are collapsing around him. They're letting pressure in on him. You know, they've allowed a sack. The 49ers have allowed a sack on Purdy in every single playoff game so far. And they have not been the best at protecting him the past, you know, 7-8 games or so. So, you know, I do expect with, you know, Karlaftis and Jones, you know, these guys are going to be getting pressure on Purdy and either getting sacks, or they're going to be forcing him out of the pocket, and he's going to either have to find someone like Debo or, you know, CMC, or he's going to be taken off. So we like him over 12.5 rushing yards. Again, if you can find out that lower line, play that. But even if you have that 12.5 line, we like it there as well. Then looking at our last prop before we get into some bonus plays and the same game parlay, we're going to be looking at Clyde Edwards-Helaire. If you guys have watched the games this year with the Chiefs, Edwards-Helaire used to be a big part of their offense, but getting Pacheco and McKinnon and, you know, all these guys now, that it's just a trio in there. Pacheco's their main guy, their main rusher, and then when they want, you know, some dump off passes and things like that, they bring in McKinnon. Edwards-Helaire really doesn't get that many snaps, and when he does, I mean, it's kind of just hit or miss if he's just open for that play. It's not like they're scheming for like a dump off pass to him or anything. Like, they don't design necessarily, like, you know, screen passes to him or anything like that. He gets limited snaps, and it's kind of just a hit or miss if he's getting the ball that day. So I will say that this is a little riskier in that sense, because it's, I mean, if it really just depends on how the Niners play it. Like, if they're looking to take away those shorter options, as you can see, like in a lot of these games, you know, he's not getting much action. He doesn't get the amount of snaps that he really used to. You know, we expect them to have, you know, heavy usage on Pacheco in this game, and then McKinnon for the passing options. Edwards-Helaire is really just going to be plugged in here and there throughout the game. But again, you know, if you're not comfortable taking something like this just because it is such a low line, understandable, just skip it. But we like Edwards-Helaire to go under here, as we don't think he's going to get much usage today. And then before we get into the same game parlay, I've got 2 more little bonus plays for you guys, just stuff that you guys should at least take a look at. I'm really looking at Chris Jones to get a sack today. If you look at the Niners pass protection for Purdy, he's been sacked 31 times this year. He's been sacked multiple times in 5 of his last 6 versus playoff teams. Versus the Lions, he got sacked twice. The Packers once. The Ravens sacked him twice this year. Eagles twice. The Bucs sacked him 4 times. The Browns sacked him 3 times. And then if you look back at the past matchups, Jones had 2 sacks versus the Niners last year. So, you know, he's proved that in the playoffs especially, he steps up in these big moments and he gets these sacks. So I expect him to get one today at plus 135. I like that. That's definitely one that you should take a look at and see if that's something you want to play. And then the other one, I'm not sure what I'm going to be playing yet on Deebo Samuel, but I know I'm going to be playing something. So I would look either to add him, like, you know, like put for like a 40+ yard, like 50+ yard, whatever, like something on him like that to add to a parlay. His line is 58.5 now at -130 on DraftKings. I mean, we've seen time and time again, Shanahan, he schemes Debo in big moments. NFC playoff game, you saw him getting multiple touches in the run game. You see him getting involved in the pass game, and he had 89 yards versus the Lions. So, I mean, these big moments, Shanahan is going to get the ball into Debo Samuel's hands. I mean, he's just a dynamic playmaker. He's going to get some type of yardage out of any play that he gets, pretty much. I mean, the guy's impossible to take down. And, you know, that's another guy I would take a look at today. Like I said, either playing his, if you want to play straight up his receiving yards, or maybe his rushing and receiving yards, you could play his rush attempts. I mean, there's plenty of things that you can look at and play on him. I'm still not sure yet. That's why I'm just adding this as like a bonus play for you guys to take a look at. I'll probably post something on Twitter about like what I'm actually eventually going to be playing, but I'm going to be looking at all of his stuff, rushing plus receiving yards. You know, I think he's going to be a big part of this game. The Chiefs are going to try to, you know, limit McCaffrey and really try to take away some of these weapons that the Niners have. But Debo Samuel, I mean, even when teams scheme and know what he's going to do, it's just so hard to track a guy like that. He's all over the field. He's playing in the slot, out wide, in the backfield. I mean, it's just such a hard thing to stop, especially when you've got pretty much the exact same player in the backfield with Christian McCaffrey. So definitely look at stuff with Debo Samuel for today. All right, so now let's get into the same game parlay. We're going to be rocking a plus 474 in this one. I'll pop it up on screen. We're going to be taking the Kansas City Chiefs plus 3.5. We're going to be taking Travis Kelce, anytime touchdown scorer. Also going to have him for 6+ receptions, and we're going to take the over on Purdy rushing at 12.5. That's going to get you a nice plus 474. This should be a big game for Kelce. I mean, he's the go-to option, and you know, big players show up in big games, so he's going to be coming for that ring. That's going to be it from us. Enjoy the game, everybody. Again, drop your prediction for the game. You know, who you guys got winning, maybe even a score prediction as well. I'm interested to see what you guys think about the game today, who's going to be taking it home. But enjoy the game, have fun with friends and family, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. If you guys are tailing the bets, good luck. And as always, let's cook the books.